Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the Martens Center European Ideas Forum. To those of you who have decided to join us in person, but also to those who are participating virtually, a very warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean that 4 significant events occurred in the outgoing year. Events which will have a profound impact on the future of the EU, but also the future of global geopolitics. The first and main challenge is still represented by the war of Russia against Ukraine. This war, unfortunately, continues, and it is not unfolding positively. It is having a negative impact not only on Ukraine, but also on the Eastern Partnership countries, especially on Georgia, on Moldova. The war is significantly affecting events in the Middle East, but also in Africa. This war has also exposed the confrontational axis Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. The second significant event of the year is the European elections. These elections have brought a visible strengthening of the policy that is often called far right. It is a policy that advocates for national sovereignty even in areas where a common European approach would be more beneficial for all. It is politics that seeks to completely eliminate immigration rather than control or regulate it. That looks more towards Russia than towards the United States or the West. It is a policy that favors collectivism over personalism. It should also be noted that despite the aforementioned shift to the right in the European Parliament elections, European institutions remain stable and have undergone a smooth transition from one legislature to the next. It is commendable that the new European Commission has been approved by the European Parliament, being able to take up its duties without any delay. As event number 3, I would mention the report of Mario Draghi. Draghi's report bluntly highlighted the EU lagging behind the most advanced nations in terms of economy, competitiveness, technological progress, and also the EU's ability to resist current and future military and hybrid threats. Last but not least, we have to take into account the presidential elections, also parliamentary or congressional elections in the United States. Presidential elections in the US have brought a clear message for Europe. We must take care of ourselves much more than before, especially in terms of our own security, as well as security of our neighborhood. The question of the day is therefore, can we, and if so, how can we respond to these new circumstances, to these new challenges? It seems to me that if the EU wants to withstand these new turbulent times, if it wants to have a future, it has only one option: to complete the process of its integration, both horizontally but also vertically. Horizontal integration means completing the enlargement process with the countries of Eastern Partnership, but also with the countries of Western Balkans. Vertically, it means building the EU into a political union that will be able to speak with one voice in the world, that will be able to defend itself militarily, that will be able to face hybrid threats, and that will be economically, technologically, and militarily strong enough to defend and promote its interests in its neighborhood, but also globally. Vertical integration has priority because it is a necessary condition not only for the more efficient functioning of the EU, but also for the final phase of our enlargement. Dear friends, we face a monumental challenge arising from a rapidly changing world. To heed the call of our time requires, above all, wisdom and courage of political leaders at both the national and community level. Our leaders need a qualified input and assistance in shaping policy. We can do that through high-quality analysis of ongoing processes, but also by anticipating future developments, and most importantly, by proposing solutions. This is precisely the domain of political think tanks and political foundations. This is precisely the domain of our Martens Center's work, and this is also the ambition of our conference. I consider it crucial that European leaders ensure the exercise of their power strictly respects the principle of subsidiarity. This means delegating powers from bottom up, from the level of member states to the common community level. If we understand this principle, if we respect and implement this principle, then we will not irritate member states from the level of the European institutions and their platforms by preaching about how they should adjust their national legislations in areas that, according to the European treaties, but also the principle of subsidiarity, fall exclusively within the competence of member states. On the other hand, but at the same time, it is evident that we are lagging behind in areas where we need to unite more closely and take action. Our leaders at both levels should initiate the necessary reforms. Reforms that are also encouraged by Mario Draghi's report. It is clear that in foreign and security policy, we need to speak with one voice and, above all, act instead of endlessly and often fruitlessly negotiating. Yes, I am referring to a change in decision-making from unanimity to voting. And this should be done in a way that seriously considers the voice of every single member state. A major challenge is to implement reforms that will strengthen the EU's economic competitiveness and increase its technological advancement. I believe that even in this area, the subsidiarity principle will show us where healthy intra-EU competition is beneficial and where we need to join forces much more than in the past to complete the single market, to build the capital market, the energy union, to apply measures promoting economic growth, innovations, modern technologies, startups. My dear friends, the challenges we face are also reflected in the program and structure of our conference. We will talk about demographic development and immigration, about Europe's position in the present and future world, about the world of innovation and cutting-edge technologies, about democracy and dynamics in the environment of political parties and ideologies, and of course, about our defense, about our security. I am looking forward to the conversation with the re-elected European Parliament President, Roberta Metsola, in a while, as well as the new European Commission Vice President for Tech Sovereignty, Security and Democracy, Henna Virkkunen, and new Commissioner for Defense and Space, Andrius Kubilius, and other distinguished guests. I am also excited to engage with representatives from business community and our conference supporters, namely Apple, AT&T, Johnson & Johnson, Qualcomm, Meta, as well as media partners, Euronews and the Financial Times. I thank you all for your support and active participation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our conference will be greeted by Mr. Manfred Weber, the European People's Party President and faction leader in the European Parliament. Thank you very much.